Welcome back. Pop says there was another lull in the fighting, a welcome respite. This lasted a few weeks, but it was the calm before the storm. In those few weeks, men could catch up on some sleep, wash their clothes, have a shave, write letters home, go down to the beach and convince themselves that war would be over soon and they could all go home. Then the major attack started, more ferocious than ever before. It's said that in war, when men stare death in the face, there are no unbelievers. Even men who profess to be agnostic will pray, God save us. For men like my grandfather who did believe, it was an internal conflict as well, as he explains in his story. Over to you, Earl.
Things settled down for a few weeks and the Turks launched a major attack. This was in May. It was terrible, and I'm sure that this battle is stamped indelibly upon the minds of all Australians who took part in it. Wave after wave of those gallant and brave Turks charged at us until they were literally climbing over heaps of their own comrades, but we had to mow them down. The screaming, the shelling, and killing was terrible. I've often heard and relived it over and over again in my mind, for there are some things in life one can never forget, and we can only ask God for forgiveness, for he said specifically, "Thou shalt not kill." We lay or stood for hours just killing with no respite, but the poor chaps still came at us. In later life, I often thought over this and came to the conclusion that we were the invaders on their own soil, and one soldier fighting on his native soil is worth 10 who fights overseas. I think that this is one reason why we were never able to beat them. But just as we would fight tenaciously if our country was invaded, so they did. This is one reason I admire them so. Once bodies began to swell up, something had to be done about this. So a couple of days afterwards, a Turk on a horse came riding along the beach carrying a white flag, and one of our officers went out and blindfolded him and took him to headquarters. A truce was declared so they could bury their dead. This was granted, and a line of demarcation was made between our lines and was patrolled by us on our side and the Turks on their side. And so we met on friendly terms, exchanged cigarettes, and although we could not understand each other, there was a spirit of camaraderie between us. We passed over hundreds of bodies on our side of the line to them. Their wounded had already been taken care of, and I'm proud to recall, as history records, that not one of their Red Cross men was shot after the battle as they came out and attended and removed their wounded. We were given strict orders to respect them, and we did. At the appointed time was on again and was kill or be killed.